Yeah, about the numbers. And these are absolutely hot off the press. In fact, earlier this morning, I'd gone on to the website sources that I normally look to, but I just happened to peek at them just before I was running over here, and updates had been published. So I had to cross my numbers out, and so you literally are getting right up to the moment. So starting at the state level, the state now, or statewide, we now have conducted about 3.1 million COVID-19 tests that have been run up and down the state. Of those 3.1 million, just slightly more than 161,000 have actually now tested positive, and we've had just shy of 5,300 deaths since the outbreak. So that the positivity rate that would translate into is about 5.2%. So, 3.1 million tests, 161,000 positive outcomes, about 5.2%. But that's spanning that entire more than 3-month period. We're actually quickly approaching the 100th day that the pandemic was officially announced here in Tulare County. That positivity rate certainly was much higher early on in the pandemic, before really the sheltering home and the universal masking and things of that nature. So it has continued to come down, although recently we've seen it kind of spike back up. But at the state level, it's actually running slightly below 5% right now. At the state level, we have roughly 3,400 COVID positive patients that are currently hospitalized. About a third of them, 1,100, are in the intensive care units of those hospitals. I think early on in some of our broadcasts, I was sharing the ethnic distribution of the positive cases and the hospitalizations, and I haven't done that in quite some time. I'm not going to do it in that kind of detail today, but I think as a lot of you have been just following the news over the last several months, that we are seeing COVID viruses disproportionately in the African American, Latino, Native American, and Pacific Islanders have a disproportionately high positivity rate among those 4 ethnicities. African American, I think, has been hit the hardest. That literally has 1.5 times higher rate than you see in any other ethnicity. So obviously a lot of analysis study that will go on to determine, what are the factors that are causing them to be more infected than other ethnicities. And then lastly, at the state level, there are just shy of about 12,500 infected healthcare workers that have tested positive, and sadly, we've had 76 deaths among healthcare workers. So, and this was really, again, just about an hour ago. So this is, again, fresh off the press. At the county level, what I was reporting earlier this morning would have been 2,884 positive cases, but as of 10:37 this morning, the county just updated the website to show 3,004 positive cases across the county. Again, that's since inception, which important to put that into context. Tulare County has about 460,000 residents. So of those 460,000, 3,004 have actually been tested and were positive for the virus.
Let me interrupt you. That
Yeah.
county update that you received just a few minutes ago, do
Right.
they do that daily?
Yes.
Okay, so
Yeah.
we've gone up then almost 200 since yesterday.
Yep. 100.
About 100 and...
About 130 something, right in that neighborhood, which is about what we have been seeing pretty consistently. And again, I always remind people that the absolute number of positive cases is going to continue to increase simply because we're doing more and more testing at the county level. I mentioned last week there are now 22 specimen collection sites across the county, Kaweah Delta being one of them. Our specimen collection site over on Floral Street is collecting almost 200 specimens a day. That's the highest since, again, the outbreak of the pandemic, but we've been consistently at that higher level. So we're just doing more and more testing, and obviously you're going to have more and more positive cases as a result of it. But again, it's that positivity rate that we really want to see go down.
Right.
That's most important. We are up one death from yesterday's reporting, so we went from 106 to 107. So of the 3,007 positive cases, 107 of them unfortunately passed away. And again, as I've mentioned, that at least 80 of those deaths did occur in nursing homes. There were about roughly 5 nursing homes throughout Tulare County that were the hardest hit. Let's see here. On the positive note, I think this is everybody really enjoys hearing this. So 3,007 positive cases, of which 2,236 now have fully recovered. So they were tested positive, quarantined at home, and now have fully recovered, many of them returning to work or their normal daily activities. So that recovery rate is definitely something that's on the rise as well,
Right.
and really great to see that happening. Across the entire county, there are currently 49 patients that are hospitalized that are positive with COVID-19. 11 of them are in the ICU, and 6 of them are on ventilators. So that's at the county level. At Kaweah Delta, so 41 of those 49 are at Kaweah Delta. So really in terms of taking care of the COVID population of Tulare County, it's entirely Kaweah Delta and Sierra View Hospital in Porterville. Tulare Hospital in Tulare does not accept any COVID patients. They are all transferred to the Adventist Health site in Hanford. So Kaweah Delta has 41 of those 49, and Sierra View Hospital has the other 8. 7 of our COVID patients are in our ICU, which means there are 4 that are in the ICU at Sierra View. We have 9 patients that are in our intermediate critical care. So 16 of the 41 patients are receiving that more critical care of that population, and then 25 of them are on 2 South, which is our dedicated respiratory unit. I will share with you that we've now hit 41 hospitalized patients pretty consistently over this last week, and that's one of the highest hospitalization rates that we've experienced through this entire pandemic. Our previous high water mark was probably in the mid-30s. I think just a couple weeks ago we were kind of hitting that 35. So we definitely, with more positive cases that are being reported, unfortunately we are seeing more hospitalizations as a result of it. Also, as of Monday, we have 111 of our employees that have been infected. 66 of them have fully recovered. We have another 45 that are at home recovering. They're quarantined and doing well. We check in with them frequently. And then we still have one of our employees that is hospitalized, but we're hearing some really good reports.
Okay.
She's up at Community Regional Medical Center. Unfortunately, she's been hospitalized for probably more than 2 months now. But again, we're hearing some really positive things and are anxious to get her back. We've only had, of our 700 plus providers, physicians, nurse practitioners, physician assistants, we've only had 4 of them that have tested positive for the virus, and all 4 of them have fully recovered. So that's a really positive thing.